Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. So today is a very special reading. Today I am reading for Bob Marley. But before I get into the reading, I just wanted to explain to you why this is so special. It's probably the most special reading I'll ever do. I've got to try and say this without getting emotional and get through this reading without getting emotional. Bob Marley died on the 11th of May 1981. Bob Marley has played a very huge part in my life. As you will know, from a very young age I could see spirit. When I was about 5 or 6, we used to have like a swing set in my garden and I used to play with Bob Marley. Now, I would run in and I'd be like, "Mum, I've just been playing with Bob Marley." And my mum didn't think anything of it because I think I was just a little bit of a strange child. But as an adult, I think that's a bit weird because my mum, I wasn't really exposed to Bob Marley music. We didn't really have it playing in the house anywhere. I wouldn't have known who Bob Marley was. But yeah, he came to me as a child. Now, looking back, if that was the end of that story, I would think that was quite weird. But he's gone on to play a massive part in my life. So if you follow me over on Instagram, you will know who this woman here is. This is my granny. Sorry. This is my dad's grandmother. So this is my great grandmother, Agatha Sinclair. Now, I don't have a very close relationship with my dad. This is my granddad's mum. I never met my granddad because he unfortunately passed away before I was born or when I was very small, but I never met him. So when I met her in 2009, I went to Jamaica, which is a trip that changed my whole life. When I met her, it's just one of the probably the most magical experience of my whole life, and it changed my whole life. My granny, when I met her, she was bedridden and she had dementia. So if you know, when you have dementia, you have memory loss and you can't remember things. But I knew by the look in her eyes and the odd things she would say, she knew exactly who we were. Sorry. God, I didn't expect to get this emotional. My granny is my #1 spirit chief. She helps me do all these readings and bring all these readings to you. She works with me night and day. And she just made me feel loved in a way I'd never been loved before. Like the way she looked at me, the way she held me. It was just unconditional. It's like it doesn't matter what I could say or what I could do. Like, she would love me no matter what. I can hear her now, sorry. And she just changed the way I saw myself and how I felt about myself and my self-worth. And an unconditional love, like a bond that was energetical, spiritual, and just very special. And like I said, my granny had dementia, so she was bedridden and there wasn't really much, you know, she could do or remember, but she knew who we were because she would come out with odd things that she would say. But I always knew that music is healing, and if there's one thing that can heal people and make people better, it's music. And so we would sing together, and I was in Jamaica for 18 days. And all I wanted to do was be by my granny's bedside. And we would sing together. What would we sing? We would sing Bob Marley. And now I can still hear her in my head singing, "Every little thing's gonna be alright." And anytime I hear that song now, I just feel reassured. But Bob Marley will come on the radio at very random times now, or I'll hear him on the TV, and it's always when I need her or need that feeling of like upliftment or love the most. So looking back, I kind of realised that he came to me as a kid because in some weird way he was like an angel who was going to walk with me until I met my gran, who then became my angel. And now whenever I hear his music, I know she's near and I feel safe and protected. So this is a really special reading to me because they're two very special people to me. Jamaica is my home. As soon as I stepped off the plane in Jamaica, my spirit felt as if it dropped and I felt as if I was at home. I'm very excited to do this and honoured, and this reading is dedicated to my Granny Agatha Sinclair. This one's for you, Granny. Is this love? Is this love that I'm feeling? Hi lovelies, and welcome back to this reading for Bob Marley. I am so honoured to be reading for the legend that is Bob Marley. Like, what an honour. You would have just seen how special Bob Marley is to me and the impact he's had on my life in more ways than one. His music is just so healing and so magical and such a blessing to us, and I'm so blessed and grateful to have him here with me. And he's very involved. He's been very talkative during this whole kind of lead up, and I was feeling very nervous, and he kind of said, hold your hands out, let me calm you down. Like, he's calmed me down because I'm so nervous to do this reading. Bob Marley's really talking about one of the things I said to him, you know, is there anything specific you want to discuss? And he's like, I want to talk about right now and what's going on earth. He's saying, because this is the chance now for the human race to stand up and be free. Bob Marley was all about taking a stand. He was very rebellious. He could have been seen as rebellious by certain people, certain governments and people in politics and, you know, the authorities and the government. He was seen as a rebel. He was kind of like a Robin Hood. He fought for the poor. You know, he came from humble beginnings. And his energy, I've written in my notes, is very mysterious, playful, charming, and he's also very what he says is not what he means. He's very metaphorical, so he could say something but it means something else. Everything has a deeper meaning with him because he is so deep. This is a very deep and spiritual man we're dealing with here. I've got everything has a deeper meaning in my notes because everything really does, but at the same time he's very diverse, because as deep as he was, as intellectual as he was, as knowledgeable as he is, he didn't take life seriously, but that was part of his wisdom. Part of his wisdom was knowing that the body and the human body is not eternal, but the spirit is. And so he was very playful. He's shown me kind of visions of him running around and playing practical jokes on people, and he had a very mysterious energy about him as well. He would just appear out of nowhere. So say you was a friend of Bob Marley's and you hadn't seen him for a long time, he would literally give you a call and he'd be like, oh hi, how are you? I'm at your front door. You know, he was very like Gone with the Wind, Rolling Stone. He was very mysterious, but he loved that element. He liked the mystery of life. He basked in it. He bathed in it. He loved it. As I'm just talking about his energy now, I'm going to start pulling cards for him. He loved that whole knowing that there's more to life, and he knew that his ability and his spiritual ability was above those people around him. So he knew he came to teach. He knew he came to teach people about life and about spiritual depth, which is why there's some of his biggest legacies are the fact that, you know, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, you know, that money doesn't make you rich. He really believed this. He believed that the only thing that really mattered was spirit, like your spirit and your soul and your energy, and he was really all about that. He's saying his zest for life, because he does have such a zest for life. Like when he was alive, he lived life to the full, and he had an amazing zest for life, and he's saying his zest for life came from watching his mother struggle and watching what she had to go through. Sorry, he's going so fast. He's saying people are going to want to know who shot me. He really wants to talk. He's saying I don't get to do this often. You know, he's saying my family don't really go to see mediums or psychic. I don't get to speak like this too often. He's saying, so I want to get what I want to get out. But yeah, he's saying that he believed music was healing, but he watched his mother struggle. He watched his mother have to take life very, very seriously because she was having to put food on the table. And he kind of vowed to himself from a young age that he was never going to be that person. He was never going to be enslaved by the government or by society's rules or norms. He was just going to basically live how he wanted to live, and that was going to be that. But he always believed in music. He always had a serious love and passion for music, and he believes that music is medicine. He's saying he had many hallucinations while he was here on earth. He said, I had many spiritual hallucinations while I was here on earth, mostly through drugs. He's specifically talking about experimentation with drugs, but he's saying that there are so many things in the earth that we haven't even discovered yet as a human race, because we've been so conditioned. We need to uncondition ourselves, and now with everything that's going on with the government really exposing themselves to us of how little they actually care, how little they really give a damn about our well-being, now's the time for us to step up and take a chance and really free ourselves from the enslavement that we've been in, because we have been enslaved. Okay. He's saying, you know, we have been enslaved as a human race, and it's time to wake up. There are things in the earth. There is healing in the earth. You don't actually need to go to doctors to be healed. This is a similar message that I got from Spirit. He's basically reassuring us. He's saying, you don't need to go to a doctor to be healed. We've been conditioned to believe that everything we need is outside of us, whereas we were placed here on earth with everything that we needed. We have the mind, we have the spirit, we have the body, we have the facilities in nature to heal ourselves. We need to get back to our roots. He's very, passionate about this. He's talking about peace of mind and how your mind is really the key to unlocking the peace to the rest of your life. These are really, really, really interesting cards, actually. In the whole way through this, he's talking about how resilient he was and how he always was a step ahead. The Knight of Swords talks about a battle. He's on the horse and he's moving forward. He's not scared. And Bob Marley is talking about fear here. He's talking about you must always choose love, one love, one love. He's talking about love. One love means that there is only one of us and there is only love. That, fear cannot come into it. When you want something bad enough, when you want happiness, when you want peace, when you want joy, you have to choose love. Nothing else can come in that way. And he really, really, really believed that. But I feel like there was a man in Bob Marley's career very, very early on who wanted to control things. The Two of Wands talks about a reliable partnership. But I feel like because it's tied to the Knight of Wands, he had to battle his way through this partnership. This man didn't stay forever, but he left. When Bob Marley left him or fired him or whatever, he got left feeling very, very bitter. And Bob Marley is saying, I had to be very resilient. I had to push always. I was always on the opposing side. He's saying, look, I came from nothing. He's really making a point of that. I came from nothing. My mother worked multiple jobs. I came from nothing. I came from shanties. I came from the ghetto. I came from the bottom. He really wants to wake people up. He wants to shake people. I can feel it coming through me. It's like he wants people to know that anything is possible. There are no excuses, and fear definitely is not an excuse. All you have to do is take the fearful thought that you're thinking of, I can't do that, or it's not possible for me, and change it to, I can do that, it is possible for me. You need to make the shift. You need to be resilient. The Knight of Swords is above the Two of Wands. I had difficulties. I had things that tried to hold me back. I had difficult issues. I had this man that was trying to control me and control things that I was trying to do, but I was resilient. I kept pushing forward. That was not going to be my life. I always had a step ahead. I always had a plan B. I always had the upper hand. We then have Justice and the King of Pentacles. Bob Marley really pissed off the government. That's the only way I can say it. He really, he pissed off the politicians and he pissed off the government. The King of Pentacles here represents the men with the money. Now, Bob Marley also had his own money, but this doesn't represent Bob Marley. This represents the government and the politicians. He's saying what's happening right now is no different to what I was trying to do. The politicians and the governments in my country, he's saying, they wanted to tear people apart. It's the same in every country. That's why there's not one party. That's why there's multiple parties, because they want to split, they want to divide, they want to conquer. Split and conquer, split and conquer. That's what they want to do. And I was trying to bring everyone together. One love. One. We are one, and love is the only way. Justice. I wanted to bring everyone together. I wanted to bring everyone together through music. I wanted to heal through music. I wanted to make things better through music. And the government didn't like that. The government didn't like that I was doing that. And so they wanted to bring me down. But again, I was one step ahead. I came out on top. If you want to know who shot me, really, because that's what's going on in here. The government had a lot to do. Was hired to shoot me. It wasn't someone from the ghetto, it wasn't someone from the local community. A hitman was hired to shoot me. They're actually showing me this man. He's dressed all in black. He's a white man. He feels quite chubby. I feel like a hitman was hired to shoot Bob Marley. Anyway, he doesn't want to dwell on that. He just wants it to be known. So then he proceeded. Now, the Knight of Wands talks about cautious progress, but he's saying progress nonetheless. I didn't stop. He's like, I recovered quickly. I recovered through herbs. I recovered through herbal medicine. He's saying, and herbal medicine, by the way, is the way forward. He's speaking very quickly because he's got a lot to say. He's saying herbal medicine is the way forward. Holistic, holistic, holistic. He's speaking very much about well-being and wellness and health. And he's saying, you know, if I had known I had the cancer, I would have been able to heal that too. Saying that he didn't give up. He didn't give up right until the end. He tried all different types of herbal. He said, I waited to go to the hospital till the last minute. I wanted to try all the herbal medicines. He wanted to do it all herbally. But he's saying, after I was shot, I did proceed. Ten of Wands talks about a burden. There was a lot of pressure on his shoulders, more than you would have seen in the limelight, he's saying, because there was so much political heat and pressure going on, not just in my country, but all over the world. I was talking about things that people didn't like to be talked about, like freedom of mindset, power of yourself, emancipating yourself from mental slavery, realizing that the government aren't going to help you. You need to get out there and help yourself. I was talking about marijuana, cannabis, the healing properties of the herb. People didn't like that. I had to be very, very careful about what I was doing, and it was a burden. He's saying at times it was a burden, at times it felt heavy, at times it felt pressured, but the journey was above that, always. He's saying always I was fighting for us as a human race, us as human beings, us as people. He's like, it was always about the people, always about the people. He's like, I could have done this work and made no money. It didn't matter to me. He's like, and I want that mindset to come down on earth. This is what we need right now. We need to be about the people, not about our money, not about ourselves. We need to remember we are one love. He keeps ending with one love. Because he's ending it saying that, and I think that's such a beautiful thing to end on, actually. The Ten of Pentacles talks about financial gain and inheritance. It talks about riches, and obviously it's the 10th Pentacles card, so it's the higher one. And it's tied to the Nine of Wands. Now, Nine of Wands talks about using your resources, using what you've got, using your own knowledge, what you have, the skills that you've gained, the experience that you've learned, and using it to manifest and to build those riches, to build that abundance, to build that foundation. He was like, look at what I did. go and read my story, research me, look where I came from. Please don't ever let anyone tell you things aren't possible. Do not listen to your government. Do not listen to society. Do not listen to people. Everything you need is inside of you. You have the resources. I had the resources. I made it possible. I made the 10 of Pentacles. I made my riches. I made my home. I made my life. And you can do that too. He's really wanting us to abandon. He's actually, I can feel the pressure on my mind of him just wanting to completely, I mean, it's like tear out our mindsets of what we've been told and completely start afresh. And he's saying right now, where we are with everything that's happening, we are given the opportunity to do that. We need to wake up. One love. Whew. Thank you. Wow. What a beautiful reading. Thank you. Marley wants us to know about the power of us and how it's time now for us as people to stand up and stand up for ourselves. Things can change and things will change through us if we have the resilience to stand up for them. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. Please leave some love down in the comments below. Hit a lovely thumbs up if you did enjoy this reading. And I will see you soon for another reading. One love.